Hello, welcome to About 6 Acres. I'm Juana.
And I'm Nick.
And today we're going to be talking about our next project, our August project.
Yeah, because July is gone. We don't know what happened. We just know we're already like midway through the first week of August.
We spent most of July in the kitchen. Like our garden did really, really well up until June, and we had a lot to preserve. And then July kind of just burnt everything to a crisp, and we harvested as much as we could. And I think, like, I'm feeling really good about how much we preserved, but we digress.
Yeah, we've got, being that it's back to school, we're getting back to work on projects because we have full-grown Sebastopol geese that are sort of outgrowing their chicken tractor that we have for them.
Back in May, you might remember that we actually hatched our own Sebastopol geese. And to our delight, they both wound up being girls, and we already had 2 boys. And so we are excited for them, not only for the current geese. Sorry, we have Dwight here who's, he's making sure that we're doing our job. He might be the director.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's executive producer. I don't know.
I wish we could show him to you, but maybe later. But basically we hatched our geese, and we have 4 of them right now, and they have been homeless, so to speak. So we're going to talk a little bit about what that means for them. And we are trying to get them something permanent because, next spring it'll be time for them to make babies.
We want more babies, more Sebastopol eggs.
Preferably all girls. But in all reality, we just need to get them situated because right now they have been in our chicken tractor, which is fantastic, but eventually we'll need our chicken tractor for chickens, and we want to make sure that they are settled in because there's something else that we want.
Yeah, other feathered friends that Josh wants. So our son Josh really wants ducks. So I don't know what it is with ducks that he wants. He said he wants an army. He wants an army of ducks. For what reason? I don't know. But maybe that'll be his graduation gift.
That is what he said he wanted for graduation. So while he, manages the whole army of ducks things, we're just making sure that the geese are taken care of. So let's show you what their situation has been and kind of our vision. We're not going to show you any actual work. It's been mostly the planning stages. And that's usually what takes us the most amount of time.
And it hurts my brain because it requires a lot of thinking.
It hurts my brain too because it requires a lot of
making me think.
Changing my mind.
It requires her making me think.
I wasn't going to say that, Nick. But if you will, it requires a lot of me trying to change his mind on certain things. But it's all good because you know what? We get to work on another big project together.
Building stuff.
And you know what? We survived the chicken coop build. So it feels like we could survive anything.
Ladies in the front, boys in the back.
Well, here are the geese. They're so excited because they know we're talking about them. This is our chicken tractor, and we've talked about it before because we've had chickens in it before. But this has worked out great for us. It's probably one of the best investments that we've made and the most versatile piece of homestead equipment that we have.
Yeah, and it's right now the geese only use it at night when we put them to sleep. So it's, they're free ranging most of the day. We have water buckets that we'll put inside for them, a smaller bucket that's like for if they want to wade in, and then their food at night. So they get fed at night, so they'll eat early in the morning. And then we just leave it open during the day if they want to come in or out during the shade, which is very, really rare. But, when it does get really rainy and stuff, sometimes they'll come in here. But there's access to water next to the goat pen. And we move it every other day so they get fresh grass. And they're not, there's no bedding that we put on the ground. So they're on the grass. They are doing great. We'll raise the sides of the tarp too when needed, so they have extra airflow, but it comes in handy. Very easy to move, but they need something more permanent.
And one of the biggest positives for us is it keeps them healthy because they're always on fresh grass. the fact that we don't have to spend extra money on any kind of bedding. But the negatives obviously is we're going to need the chicken tractor for chickens at some point. And so we want to be able to give them a permanent area. The other part of it is we want to give them a permanent area because if they do start nesting, we won't be able to just move the tractor on them. So we want to make sure that we're prepared for the spring. One of our goals is to be able to enclose them in a better way so that they don't have access to the house, because right now our porch is not visitor friendly.
Yeah, they've marked their territory very well.
That they have. So that is one of the biggest reasons why we don't want to keep them here. They're so big and they tend to nest on the ground that we just want to make sure that we have something available for them that makes sense come spring.
We got a couple ideas. We got a couple ideas going through.
Yeah, are you okay, Miss Kelly?
Yeah, you're gonna check it out?
Yeah.
Like, okay. It is a chicken tractor, so chickens are welcome.
Let's talk a little bit about what you need if you are looking for a home for geese. We have not had to build a home yet. And so for us, we've been doing so much research because there's a lot that we don't know, but we've owned geese for 2 years. Now, Sean and Gus, when we had them, they were out, they had an enclosed area so that predators couldn't get to them at night. We do have coyotes, we have bobcats, yeah, and hawks and things like that, but hawks don't bother them because of their size. They look a lot bigger than what they actually are, and a lot
dogs,
heavier.
Neighbors' dogs.
Yeah, when we got Sean and Gus, they actually lived on a bigger property that had livestock guardian dogs, so LGD. And so they just were out in the woods. They would just hang out in by the trees. They really didn't have an area enclosed like what we're proposing to do. And it worked fine, again, because they had LGDs, they were protected, and so there wasn't that threat necessarily. We don't have that. We're not in a position where we want a livestock guardian dog. We're not in a position where we feel like we could care for one and give them sufficient work. Our property is about 6 acres. So definitely not big enough to keep an LGD busy enough. And so we want to make sure that we enclose the area for them. The other key is, obviously we talked about it.
Yeah, we need a bigger water feature area, so a bigger pond than just the kiddie pool. And the kiddie pools come in handy, super cheap, but being out in this Texas sun and stuff, that kiddie pool gets destroyed. So
yeah,
we're on our second one already, and it's already getting pretty nicked up between moving and then climbing in and out. So a bigger permanent pond area, that's gonna look a lot nicer,
yeah,
than that Smurf blue.
No matter what we get, we do want to make sure that we have easy access to water. So that kind of limits the location that we can put it in. And we have four spigots right now, 4 like water areas that are potentials. And so 2 of them we're not even considering because they're by the house. The other one is right here, which has right by the goat pen, which has been great. And then we have another one
back by the container.
Mm-hmm. And so we have not done our water hydrants yet, which is on our list of goals, but we are still going to go ahead and put one of those hose links.
Yeah, hose links, retractable hose reel, so we can, it's out of the way and we don't run it over with the mower and stuff.
And it works, yeah, exactly.
And it's protected from the elements.
And I don't trip over it, yeah.
So here's one of the hoses that we've been using. It's in knots, it's held up with a dog collar, but it's attached to our spigot down there. So eventually we'll get one of those frost-free hydrants that we can put there. Nice and easy, we can hang buckets on, and we don't have to have these crazy hoses running around.
It's a very nice luxury to have a retractable hose reel. The other thing that we considered, because we had 2 locations in mind, but we talked about the fact that with all that water, we want to make sure that it doesn't drain into anything existing that we care about, right? So we don't want it to drain into the goat pen.
Or into the chicken run.
Or into the boys' pen. So that kind of framed our location a little bit better.
Yeah, because every part of our property is sloped very heavily, so I think that means we're going to put it down on the lower end of the slope in a certain way. That way it can drain off and go into the field and help remediate some of the soil that's down there. So
let's look at that area. The geese decided to kind of join us because they know we're talking about them. But if you look at our property, the area where the girls are is probably the farthest distance from the house if you look at it from a linear, like as the crow flies. And we're looking at putting the goose house, or maybe it's geese house. I'm not really sure because it sounds funny either way. But we're considering this spot here for them. The biggest reason is it's semi-flat, so I think that will give us the easiest way to do the foundation.
Yeah, we got to level the ground at all, which we probably do because we got to do the foundation for the little house. And so setting it on blocks, it'll be easy to level. And this area, because it's on a slope, obviously it's going to be a little bit wetter, so it'll be easier to dig through. That's the plan anyway.
It is very uneven ground, which is not the most pleasant, but just given all of the other areas that we could use easily, this just seems to make the most sense.
Raise it up on those blocks, sort of like those decking blocks. So we'll raise it off the ground a little bit so the wood, I guess decking, the wood base is not actual on the floor, so it's either leveling this out and packing it with the soil or maybe some gravel, but definitely putting those decking blocks that we can put on so we can raise up the wood rails, either the skid rails or the deck bottom, so it's off the ground. Sort of like we did with the boys. We have those up on blocks, but we'll probably get those decking blocks that have the cross for the 2x4s and the 4x4s, so we can set it off the ground.
Putting it here, we feel like is a win-win, right?
Yeah, again, we got the access to the water here. It's still near the animals. It's on that lower slope, and so if we do a pond feature or a larger wet area, we can drain. When we have to clean the water, we can drain it out, and it'll go and it'll help remediate this area down here that basically haven't been used, that we finally got mowed, which we have to mow again, but at least that water, and then if there's any bedding that we put in, we can put it out here and help really rejuvenate that soil back again. The primary thing is getting them away from the house. So if they have a little area that they like with a bigger water feature that they'll hang around with,
and
that they enjoy, and shade, stuff that they enjoy more, we're hoping that it pulls them away from the house and they can claim this area as their own.
Yes, which they've already kind of claimed everything as their own. So it's just be like, here, take it for real. But then that'll give us the opportunity to be able to add a fence once we give them a place to be. I think it's just making sure that they feel like, hey, they have a home. That's just a little snippet of what has been going on in our heads throughout July. And, you know, hopefully in August, we'll have a very productive August. This is something that we are just so excited about. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with us throughout July.
And don't forget, you're awesome and you are loved.
Until next time. That's the house you want? That has occupants already. Yeah, Mira, that has occupants. Don't give me the side eye. Let's go to sleep. Come on. All right, babies. Sleepy time. Let's go to sleep. Yeah, sleepy time. Night, night, sleepy. Let's go to sleep. Are we going for a swim today? You don't know? Okay, let's find out. Let's go to sleep. Yeah. It's such a good night, too. It's so pretty out, right? Are we going for a swim before we go to sleep? You don't know? Okay. Yeah. Let's go to sleep. Good job. I know, we got to replace the water in that little pool in there. Do it now? I will. Thank you for being so bossy. Yeah, your bossiness is appealing. I don't know to who, but, you know, so Sometimes you need bossy people. Bossy geese.